Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at the Hyundai IONIQ 5. So the electric car revolution has given manufacturers such as Hyundai and Kia a chance to slightly reposition themselves in the market. Now, you've probably noticed the IONIQ 5 here has received widespread acclaim. It has won several Car of the Year awards. So we're here really just to have a look and see how it compares to other EVs we've driven and if it justifies all the praise it has received. One place to start, this is the Ultimate, so this is the fully loaded version, starts at £48,000. You can also get Premium, which I think starts at £43,000. Now, one thing that Hyundai and Kia have done tremendously well is the lack of options list. It's you buy a spec level and it's all in. So the only optional extra to note on this car is the matte grey silver paintwork, and that comes in at £685. So the starting price for this car is a lick under 49,000. So we'll start, you get these LED headlights across here, just really add to the striking looks of this car. If I unlock it, you can sort of see the square lights across there. And yeah, I mean, it's a striking looking car. I think it's good looking. I like the way this car presents itself, but even if you disagree with me, this is the sort of car that you're going to notice out and about on the road. So not too much to note on the exterior, certainly regarding options. We'll spend a bit longer on the interior because that's where you're really getting your value for money with this car. You do get these 20-inch wheels as standard. Again, I really like the way they look, and I like the creases in the bodywork along here as well. And when we unlock the car, I like the way the handles present themselves as well. We'll have a look in the interior in a second, as I mentioned. We'll just have a look in the rear for space as well. You get the tinted windows. As we come in here, so the driver's seat is in my position. I'm 6'2", loads of space back here. And as you can see, these seats do recline all the way. So if you are stopping for a longer charge, you can put that back, have a bit of a sleep if you desire. So this bench moves forwards and backwards. If you have it further forward, you can also lean these seats back. So it's very easy to find a comfortable position. You get ISOFIX. There's a couple of USB chargers as well. And the rear seats are heated as well, which is a nice touch. The front ones are ventilated too. We'll come round to the boot. Just have a look at how much space there is in here. So it starts at 551 litres. If you move that rear bench forward, it goes up to 584. Just got charging cables in here at the moment. There's a bit more storage down here as well. They've just got the tyre mobility kit and some more charging gubbins down there at the moment. I'll close this. So again, you get this square lighting effect around the back. It's sort of a bit 80s meets 2020s. I quite like the styling of this car all round. And as we come around this side, you get the LED bar across the top here as well, which integrates with this spoiler down here, so it funnels air down there. Not that it really needs the aerodynamics. It weighs 2 tons. It produces 217 horsepower, 350 newton meters of torque, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. So it's not pretending to be something that it is not. But yeah, really like the styling of this. Crucially, let's find out what it's like inside. So this is really where the all-inclusive package with the Hyundai IONIQ 5 comes into its own. Yeah, only the one optional extra of note on the exterior, but in here it is fully loaded, which is good. So we'll start with these nice comfortable leather seats, both heated and ventilated, fully electrically adjustable, really comfortable. Yeah, it's just a really nice relaxing place to be in here. There's just so much space. And there's some nice clever touches as well. So loads of storage, including a glove drawer rather than box. There's plenty of storage space in there, big door bins both sides, a couple of cup holders at the front here, and you get this massive storage bin down the middle here with wireless phone charging, USB slots there. There's another USB slot down there with a 12-volt battery, and there is yet more storage in here as well, which is enough for a phone, various cables, sunglasses, cases, wallets, all that sort of thing. As we come across to the touch screen, so yeah, you get this lovely clear screen all the way across here with all sorts of information. There are quite a few sub-menus. I mean, for example, if you wanted to alter how you did the charging, you'd think you'd do it through the EV button, and as you can see, it's a little bit laggy, but you don't. You have to go through into settings and then into EV settings. So it's one of these cars you do need to give yourself a bit of time to adjust to, but the good thing is, with use, you just get used to everything, and this car just grows and grows and grows on you. It's really good in that respect. So got a touchscreen down here. Again, you need to dive into the screens here to sort out things like these. It is quite laggy on here, so we want to sort out climate and the direction that everything blows in. It's easier to come in through here and to sort out the seats as well from here, to put the air conditioning seats on and that sort of thing. There's no wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, so you have to plug that in. That's a minor annoyance. It does support Bluetooth audio, and on the audio front you get Bose premium audio as standard, which is a nice touch because it's quite a good sound system and works very well in here. Another minor irritation, the gap in the steering wheel here is quite small, so it is a little bit challenging to see all of the information on the dash there, so you've got to make a compromise on where you have the steering wheel position so that you can see everything. But again, it's one of those things, you do just find a position and you do just get used to it. The gear selector is down on the driver's side through here, so you go down for reverse, and then that brings in things like the reversing camera, and you get the sonar sensors around there. Flick it up to put it into D, and then you press the button and stop to put it into park. You've got different drive modes select from here, so you've got normal, sport and eco. The only real difference, eco, you get a very sluggish throttle response, so it's worth bearing that in mind if you need to pull out of junctions. Probably worth cycling through to at least normal, then onto sport, but that does impact your range on here as well, as does quite dramatically the air conditioning. So you can see we've got 157 mile of range up here. If I turn the AC off, that jumps to 176. So I knew that air conditioning used a lot of power, but I didn't realise it used quite that much power. But it is a very warm day today, so definitely a case of leaving that on. The range too, just while we're talking about that, what it displays on here is actually really reliable, and that has been a problem with some other EVs, is that it can just munch through the mileage on there quite quickly. It's actually quite reliable on this, so you're looking at about 260 miles from a charge, and you will actually get 260 miles from a charge, unless of course you go out on the motorway and you're hammering along at 100 miles an hour or anything silly like that. But I'll use it for commuting, and I achieved 4 miles per kilowatt hour on commute, which is great. If you think you've got, give or take, 70 kilowatt hours to work with, then that's getting on for 280 miles of range in and around traffic conditions. So yeah, pretty reliable in that mode. Do like screens. It's got other stuff. We reviewed the Kia Stinger last year. You know, it will play like rainy days and like open fire and open air cafe and all that sort of thing. So yeah, that's obviously, you can see the sort of shared underpinnings between Hyundai and Kia in that respect. But all in all, I must say I found this a hugely relaxing environment to be in. Just completely de-stressed, loads of space, loads of headroom, and you know, all the clever features. Like you can move this out of the way, so you can move that back and you can spread your legs, which is useful for keeping yourself cool in the warmer weather. But anyway, enough about that. Let's see what it's like to drive. So what's a Hyundai IONIQ 5 like to drive? Well, as mentioned, very serene, very relaxing. We are on a B road at the moment, so if I do want to be a bit of a hooligan, put it into sport, you do get that instant hit of torque that you get with all EVs, and it's quick enough from, I'd say, 0 to 40. So if you are in and out of traffic, if you have got it in sport, you will make those little gaps you need. There's more than enough there. I mean, it does run out of puff once you get sort of beyond that speed, but again, I think you'd expect that. It's also surprisingly enjoyable down a decent B road. It does weigh just over 2 tonnes, as mentioned, but you really have to think about what you're doing, but it can flow quite nicely with the road. I mean, steering's very light and comfortable, but I do suspect that Hyundai's N division, which are obviously on form with the i20N and the i30N, I would suspect that they will get hold of it at some stage and probably won't do it any harm. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with something quite decent, but that's for another day. This does also come in the dual motor version that does 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, so if you do want something a bit quicker, you can get that. I think it's an extra £4,000 on top of this, but that's not really the raison d'etre of this car. Like I say, it's just nice and quiet, nice and relaxing. It's a nice place to be. Not at one stage in the 250 miles I've driven this car have I felt stressed. It's just, even commuting, it's just a really nice place to be. One point to note, you might have heard it beeping then, you do need to turn the lane keep assist on. So there's a button down the steering wheel, you have to hold it down for 3 seconds and that turns that off. It does always think you're on the verge of an accident, this car. Car in front brakes, you're going to crash. Car in front of you changes lane, you're going to crash. Approaching stop traffic, you're going to crash. So that's a minor irritation on it. But you can turn that lane keep assist off pretty easily. The rest of the collision stuff, you have to dive into the sub menus to turn that off. Another thing that I turned off straight away as well, which is a first for me, was the head-up display. It's called this augmented reality thing. Now, I normally love a head-up display, find it very useful, particularly when you're on the motorway, because a lot of these modern cars, you've got absolutely no idea how fast you're going, so having a reminder straight in front of you is very useful. It just made me feel sick, and within about 2 minutes of getting in the car, I was pulled over in a bus stop, and it took a while to dive through the sub-menus to work out how to turn it off, but it was easy enough to do, just not a feature that I'm going to use there. So you see his emergency brake there, because there was a guy in a bike turning out of the lane. We were nowhere near him. It thought we were going to kill him. We weren't. So yeah, it can be a little bit fussy in that environment. But I must say, the real USP with this car, the longer you spend with it, the more you like for it. It's an impossible car to dislike. It really is. The longer you spend in it, the more you fall for its charms. As I mentioned, you know, the EV revolution's given manufacturers like Kia a chance to reposition themselves, and on the evidence of this, it feels like an opportunity that they are grasping with both hands. This is a really good EV. It's, you know, you can get decent efficiency out of it. The time I have had it, I've averaged exactly 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. I have had a couple of sort of blasts in it just to sort of push the performance and see what it's like dynamically and all that sort of thing. Yeah, not really what this car's about, but you know, I'm supposed to be a motoring journalist, so you've got to try these things out, haven't you? But you know, to average 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, given all the scenarios I've been driving it in, that's pretty impressive. Get good range. Yeah, charges, I think it's got a 10.5 kilowatt hour onboard charger, so yeah, if you've got the overnight plug, that's very easy to do. Yeah, on the whole, you know, you're buying this car for its serenity, the pleasantness of the driving experience, and it delivers in spades on that. Yeah, and like I said, if you do want something with a bit more poke, the dual motor version is available. But yeah, as a first foray into the EV market, you know, Kia Hyundai have got the Kona as well. Kia have got the EV6, got the IONIQ 5 here. Yeah, you know, there's going to be some strong Korean competition to the established German and European manufacturers, I think, with this. Yes, people really like this car as well. Got the good looks, got the modern touches, comes fully loaded, and yeah, like I say, it's not without its foibles, but it's an impossible car to dislike. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. We're on a run of EVs at the moment. Slight change of pace, the Porsche Taycan 4S. I think that review might be on the channel by the time you watch this, so please go ahead and check that one out. We've got the BMW i4 M50, Mustang Mach-E, and the Kia EV6 coming up as well. So yeah, please hit subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks.